Hello and welcome to Cloud Learner's Journey Part 15 of Azure Administrator Associate Real Exam Questions and Answers with Explanation, and reference links are available in the description. So let's get started. If you like the video, please do like, share, comment and subscribe to our Cloud Learner's Journey YouTube channel to help you pass the AZ-104 and become an Azure Administrator Associate. Question 1. You create an Azure storage account named Contoso Storage. You plan to create a file share named Data. Users need to map a drive to the data file share from home computers that run Windows 10. Which outbound port should you open between the home computers and the data file share? And the options are A80, B443, C445, D3389. And the correct option is C445. Server message block, which is SMB, is used to connect to an Azure file share over the internet. The SMB protocol requires TCP port 445 to be open. Incorrect answers are port 80 is required for HTTP to a web server, port 443 is required to HTTPS to a web server, port 3389 is required for remote desktop protocol connections. Next, question number 2. Your company has an Azure subscription that includes a number of Azure virtual machines, which are all part of the same virtual network. Your company also has an on-premises Hyper-V server that hosts a VM named VM1, which must be replicated to Azure. Which of the following objects that must be created to achieve this goal? Answer by dragging the correct options from the list to the answer area. And the options are Hyper-V site, storage account, Azure Recovery Service Vault, Azure Traffic Manager instance, replication policy, endpoint. And the options are Hyper-V site, Azure Recovery Services Vault, replication policy. For Hyper-V server, Hyper-V site, Azure Recovery Services Vault, replication policy. If the question is for physical servers, then it is storage account, Azure Recovery Services Vault, replication policy. Next, question number 3. You sign up for Azure Active Directory, Azure AD Premium P2. You need to add a user named admin1 at contoso.com as an administrator on all the computers that will be joined to the Azure AD domain. What should you configure in Azure AD? And the options are A. Device settings from the devices blade, B. Providers from the MFA server blade, C. User settings from the users blade, D. General settings from the groups blade. And the correct option is A. Device settings from the devices blade. In the Azure portal, you can manage the device administrator role on the devices page. To open the devices page, sign into Azure portal. On the left navigation bar, click Azure Active Directory. In the Manage section, click Devices. On the device blade, click Device Settings. Next, question number 4. You have an Azure subscription named Subscription 1 that contains the resources shown in the following table. Columns, name, type, region, resource group. RG1 is resource group type in West Europe region and the resource group is not applicable. RG2 is resource group type in North Europe region. Vault 1 is recovery services vault type in West Europe region in RG1 resource group. You create virtual machines in subscription 1 as shown in the following table. Columns, name, resource group, region, operating system. VM1 is an RG1 resource group in West Europe region and the operating system is Windows Server 2016. VM2 is an RG1 resource group in North Europe region and the operating system is Windows Server 2016. VM3 is an RG2 resource group in West Europe region and operating system is Windows Server 2016. VMA is an RG1 resource group in West Europe region and the operating system is Ubuntu Server 18.04. VMB is an RG1 resource group in North Europe region and operating system is Ubuntu Server 18.04. VMC is an RG2 resource group in West Europe region and operating system is Ubuntu Server 18.04. You plan to use Vault 1 for the backup of as many virtual machines as possible. Which virtual machines can be backed up to Vault 1? And the options are A. VM1 only, B. VM3 and VMC only, C. VM1, VM2, VM3, VMA, VMB, and VMC. D. VM1, VM3, VMA, and VMC only. E. VM1 and VM3 only. And the correct option is D. VM1, VM3, VMA, and VMC only. To create a vault for protecting virtual machines, the vault must be in the same region as the virtual machines. If you have virtual machines in several regions, create a recovery services vault in each region. Next, question number 5. You plan to use the Azure Import-Export services to copy files to a storage account. Which two files should you create before you prepare the drives for the import job? Each correct answer present part of the solution. And the options are A. An XML manifest file, B. A dataset CSV file, C. A JSON configuration file, D. A PowerShell PS1 file, E. A driveset CSV file. And the options are B. A dataset CSV file, E. A driveset CSV file. Before import job, you need to prepare the drives for the import export and then modify the dataset.csv file in the root folder where the tool resides. Depending on whether you want to import a file or folder or both, add entries in the dataset.csv file. After that, modify the driveset.csv file in the read folder where the tool resides. Question number 6. You download an Azure Resource Manager template based on an existing virtual machine. The template will be used to deploy 100 virtual machines. You need to modify the template to reference an administrative password. You must prevent the password from being stored in plain text. What should you create to store the password? And the options are A. An Azure Key Vault and an access policy, B. An Azure Storage Account and an access policy, C. A Recovery Services Vault and a backup policy, D. Azure Active Directory, Identity Protection and an Azure policy. And the correct option is A. An Azure Key Vault and an access policy. You can use a template that allows you to deploy a simple Windows VM by retrieving the password that is stored in a key vault. Therefore, the password is never put in plain text in the template parameter file. Next, question number 7. You have an Azure storage account named storage1 that contains a blob container named container1. You need to prevent new content added to container1 from being modified for 1 year. What should you configure? And the options are A. The access tier, B. An access policy, C. The access control IAM settings, D. The access level. And the correct option is B. An access policy. Time-based retention policies can be used. With the time-based retention policy, users can set policies to store data for a specified interval. When a time-based retention policy is set, objects can be created and read but not modified or deleted. After the retention period has expired, objects can be deleted but not overwritten. Next, question number 8. You create the following resources in an Azure subscription: an Azure Container Registry instance named rregistry1, an Azure Kubernetes service cluster named cluster1. You create a container image named app1 on your administrative workstation. You need to deploy app1 to cluster1. What should you do first? And the options are A. Run the Docker push command, B. Create an app service plan, C. Run the AZ-ACR build command, D. Run the AZ-AKS create command. And the option is C. Run the AZ-ACR build command. You should sign in and push a container image to container registry. Run the AZ-ACR build command to build and push the container image. Next, question number 9. You have an Azure subscription that contains the storage accounts shown in the following table. Columns: name, type, performance. Storage1 with storage v2 type and performance is standard. Storage2 with blob storage type and performance is standard. Storage3 with blob storage type and performance is premium. Storage4 with file storage type and performance is premium. You plan to manage the data stored in the accounts by using lifecycle management rules. To which storage accounts can you apply lifecycle management rules? And the options are A. Storage 1 only, B. Storage 1 and storage 2 only, C. Storage 3 and storage 4 only, D. Storage 1, storage 2 and storage 3 only, E. Storage 1, storage 2, storage 3 and storage 4. And the correct option is D. Storage 1, storage 2 and storage 3 only. The lifecycle management feature is available in all Azure regions for general purpose V2 accounts, blob storage accounts, premium blobs storage accounts, and Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2 accounts. Next, question number 10. You administer a solution in Azure that is currently having performance issues. You need to find the cause of the performance issues pertaining to metrics on the Azure infrastructure. Which of the following is the tool you should use? And the options are A. Azure Traffic Analytics, B. Azure Monitor, C. Azure Activity Log, D. Azure Advisor. And the correct option is B. Azure Monitor. Metrics in Azure Monitor are stored in a time series database which is optimized for analyzing timestamp data. This makes metrics particularly suited for alerting and fast detection of issues. Next, question number 11. You have an Azure subscription named Subscription 1. In Subscription 1, you create an alert rule named Alert 1. Action group is configured as shown in the following exhibit. Here in the exhibit, resource group name default-activity log alerts, group short name AG1 enabled true, email receivers action1 underscore email action, SMS receivers action1 underscore SMS action, name action group 1, type Microsoft.insights/action groups, location global. Alert 1 alert criteria triggered every minute. Use the drop-down menus to select the answer choice that completes each statement based on the information presented in the graphic. In the answer area for the first one, the number of email messages that alert 1 will send in an hour is 60. One alert per minute will trigger one email per minute, which is 60. Second one, the number of SMS messages that alert 2 will send in an hour is 12. No more than one SMS every 5 minutes can be sent, which equals 12 per hour. Rate limiting is a suspension of notification that occurs when too many are sent to a particular phone number, email address, or a device. Rate limiting ensures that alerts are manageable and actionable. The rate limit threshold are SMS, no more than one SMS every 5 minutes, voice, no more than one voice call every 5 minutes, email, no more than 100 emails in an hour. Next, question number 12. You have two Azure subscriptions named Sub1 and Sub2. An administrator creates a custom role that has an assignable scope to resource group named RG1 in Sub1. You need to ensure that you can apply the custom role to any resource group in Sub1 and Sub2. The solution must minimize administrative effort. What should you do? And the options are A. Select the custom role and add Sub1 and Sub2 to the assignable scope. Remove RG1 from the assignable scopes. B. Create a new custom role for Sub1. Create a new custom role for Sub2. Remove the role from RG1. C. Create a new custom role for Sub1 and add Sub2 to the assignable scope. Remove the role from RG1. D. Select the custom role and add Sub1 to the assignable scope. Remove RG1 from the assignable scope. Create a new custom role for Sub2. And the option is A. Select the custom role and add Sub1 and Sub2 to the assignable scope. Remove RG1 from the assignable scope. Current custom role is only for RG1 and Sub1. To apply for any resource group in Sub1 and Sub2, assignable scope has to have both Sub1 and Sub2 and need to remove RG1 from the same assignable scope. Next, question number 13. You have an Azure subscription that contains an Azure Active Directory tenant named Contoso.com and an Azure Kubernetes service cluster named AKS1. An administrator reports that she is unable to grant access to AKS1 to the users in Contoso.com. You need to ensure that access to AKS1 can be granted to the Contoso.com users. What should you do first? And the options are: A. From Contessor.com, modify the organization relationship settings. B. From Contessor.com, create an OAuth 2.0 authorization endpoint. C. Recreate AKS1. D. From AKS1, create a namespace. And the correct option is B. From Contessor.com, create an OAuth 2.0 authorization endpoint. Cluster administrators can configure Kubernetes role-based access control based on a user's identity or directory group membership. Azure AD authentication is provided to AKS cluster with OpenID Connect. OpenID Connect is an identity layer built on top of the OAuth 2.0 protocol. Next, question number 14. Your company has virtual machines hosted in Microsoft Azure. The VMs are located in a single Azure virtual network named VNet1. The company has users that work remotely. The remote workers require access to the VMs on VNet1. You need to provide access for the remote workers. What should you do? And the options are: A. Configure a site-to-site VPN. B. Configure a VNet to VNet VPN. C. Configure a point-to-site VPN. D. Configure direct access on a Windows Server 2012 server VM. E. Configure a multi-site VPN. And the correct option is C. Configure a point-to-site VPN. A point-to-site VPN gateway connection lets you create a secure connection to your virtual network from an individual client computer. Next, question number 15. You have an app named App1 that runs on an Azure web app named Web App 1. The developers at your company upload an update of App1 to a Git repository named Git1. Web App 1 has the deployment slots shown in the following table. Columns: name, function. Web App 1-prod is in production function. Web App 1-test is in staging function. We need to ensure that the App1 update is tested before the update is made available to users. Which two actions should you perform? And the options are: A. Swap the slots. B. Deploy the App1 update to Web App 1-prod and then test the update. C. Stop Web App 1-prod. D. Deploy the App1 update to Web App 1-test and then test the update. E. Stop Web App 1-test. And the correct options are: A. Swap the slots. D. Deploy the App1 update to Web App 1-test and then test the update. You can swap instances assigned to a slot on demand. Deploying your application to a non-production slot can validate app changes in a staging deployment slot before swapping it with the production slot. Here we end with part 15. Thank you for watching part 15 of Azure Administrator Associate Real Exam Questions and Answers. We hope you found it informative and helpful. If you liked the video, please like, share and subscribe to our channel and comment for more related topics. We look forward to continuing the journey with you next videos. Thank you.